Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
After a winning road trip against teams from the Central Division, the Royals are back home to take on two of the best teams in the East, beginning with a veteran Yankees team filled with future Hall of Famers. The youngest team in the big leagues and the oldest team in the big leagues. A four-game series begins next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium for the first time in 10 days. The Royals begin a 7-game homestand, trying to build on a winning road trip and an exciting win yesterday. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and the Royals' goal is to beat the Yankees. But, Rex, the youngest team can also learn a little something from the oldest team.
Well, there's no question about it. What comes along with the 27 World Championships in a veteran lineup is plate discipline. These guys will be very tough, taxing the pitch count of Danny Duffy if he doesn't get in that strike zone early. And after 11 days rest, that will be the test. Can he throw strikes to this patient offense?
So Duffy could have his hands full, but if he pitches like he did in his first two starts, the Yankees could have their hands full. We'll talk more about Duffy coming up with pitching coach Dave Island. Brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. Joel will get some keys from pitching coach Dave Island on the Yankees and Danny Duffy when we come back.
Our Mazda replay takes a look at Danny Duffy facing the Yankees a year ago here at the K. It was Robinson Cano going deep off of the left-handed rookie. Joel Goldberg back here in right field, and had a chance to talk to pitching coach Dave Island, who was also the pitching coach for the Yankees in the past. And he knows that the key tonight for Danny Duffy and every night is just to back off a little bit.
Has to be under control in his head first. The body will follow. And if he pitches at 95%, you're going to see mid to upper 90 fastball. You're going to see an above average curveball, a good changeup, and a hard cutter. And it's all there. It's just gaining experience, going through some growing pains, learning from those, and not letting the game speed up in big situations, which I've seen an improvement in that already so far this first month.
Island with high expectations for Duffy. He'll be facing the Yankees next. Ryan and Rex have the call.
Definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And with that, Derek Jeter fouls away the first pitch, and we are underway. The Royals are home after the long road trip. Long because of a couple of rainouts, but a winning road trip through Cleveland, Minnesota, and Detroit. And now a 7-game homestand with the Yankees and the Red Sox. 0-2.
Okay, that's exactly where Danny Duffy wants to stay, ahead of every hitter. Now, it's not exactly possible, but if he had his druthers, and Dave Island was giving him his report today, it was these guys are very patient, so go right after him, make him put the ball in play with that great stuff.
Quintero wanted that pitch up and in. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Let's take a look at the Kia report for Danny Duffy tonight.
When you hear the word stuff, it means good fastball, basically. His Kia report is to get ahead, stay ahead. Throw first pitch strikes. Lefties aren't doing so hot off him. Righties are hitting a little bit better. But this guy batting, Jeter's hitting .576 versus lefties.
And Joe Girardi, with some of those numbers in mind, only has 2 left-hand batters in the lineup tonight against Danny Duffy. Curtis Granderson and Robinson Cano. So he'll stack the righties against him.
11 days rest. Sometimes you're a little bit strong, and Duffy, he's strong on regular rest.
That is just foul, and it's still 1-2. And here is the Yankees lineup tonight against Danny Duffy, making his second career start against New York. And if the Yankees are off to a slow start, it's not because of their offense. They are third in the league in hitting. They lead the league in home runs, and that wind is blowing out of the south today. A warm day, so the jet stream is going to help anything to center field, left center, and left field. And there's Joe Girardi in his 5th season as Yankee manager, and Yankees last year won 97 games. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, Danny's going to break out all of his stuff early on the first batter, Jeter. Above average fastball, mid to upper at times. Good strikeout pitch when he elevates. Nice breaking ball, big arc to it. Slider, slurvy, kind of a curve, and a nice changeup that he's getting more and more accustomed to and having confidence in. He'll need it against the righties.
And Jeter goes the other way, almost nailed first base umpire Phil Cuzzi. It's a warm, muggy day in Kansas City, at least for this time of year. 83 degrees. The 7:10 game started at 7:09, and the time and temp is presented by the parking spot at KCI.
Hey, a minute early. Duffy couldn't wait.
And Jeter inside out into right center field. He's made a career, a Hall of Fame career of doing that, and the Yankees have the leadoff man on.
And on the 8th pitch, he singles. All right, defensively behind Danny Duffy, and he'll need this defense here, as all the starters will as the season goes on. Jarrod Dyson's going to be on his mark in center field. Escobar, this guy can turn the 2, no question. Now Humberto Quintero, he is going to get the call behind the plate, hopefully putting down the right signals to help Duffy win.
Now ball 1-2. Curtis Granderson.
Of course, the defense is always sponsored by Ford.
Always. A little bit high, and it's 2-0 to Granderson, who used to be a very poor hitter against left-hand pitching. When he was with the Tigers, there was a huge split between his numbers against righties and lefties, but he's turned that around in the last 2 years, and actually this year he's doing better against lefties than he is against the right-handers. Good pitch in on the hands, and it's 2-1.
And it's because he's not jumping out and opening up with his front side. He's just keeping it closed, and he's using his front toe to turn it in a little bit to help keep him in off lefties. You see the difference this year, and it's all about adjustments, since he's doing that so far in his 7th season.
More home runs and RBIs against righties. That's just because he's had so many more at-bats against them, but a much better average against the Southpaws.
Okay, Derek Jeter, he really worked that count. Duffy jumped out 0-2 on him, and Jeter, as hot as he is, he's able to fight that ball off and tack some pitches from Danny. 8 in total.
High in the air into right center field. That is into a crosswind, and Dyson backpedaling onto the track. And he got caught flat-footed, and Derek Jeter heads up, tags, and goes to second base.
Okay, when you see a ball that's lofted up in the air, you have to be able to get in back of that ball that deep and get some momentum coming in and know that a veteran's going to read that. He's drifting back. You have to sprint back and go ahead. Now watch Jeter. He sees that. He could see the body language of Dyson, the fact that he was going to catch it back on his heels. So that's a smart veteran move there.
Ball 1 to Mark Teixeira, and you could really see on the replay there, Rex, that Jarrod Dyson was not prepared for Jeter tagging. He was surprised when he saw Jeter head for second base.
Have to play with a sense of urgency. You can't assume anything. Veteran players like this are smart and heady.
Pulled to third. Moustakas gets the big hop. He looks Jeter back to second. Teixeira is out number 2.
Routine play for Moose, and he loves to hear the crowd here at the K. Give him the Moose. Make sure Jeter went back to second base. Didn't want to give him any ideas to advance to third. And now try to get A-Rod out of this first inning here. Jeter, he's a veteran guy, you know, and he might be a little bit up in his years, but still, he's a good athlete, well-conditioned, and he'll be ready to score on a base hit if it happens. Duffy looking good so far in this first. Looks like he's calm and he's not as hyper and breathing heavy like that. Looks like he's doing his job so far.
Well, you heard Ned Yost during Hy-Vee Royals Live, and with Nate Bucatey's report from the field that the Royals they're going to pay attention to Danny Duffy tonight. He's coming back from a little strain in his elbow, and with all that time off, you mentioned that he could be strong, and the Royals just want to make sure that he gives a normal effort. Doesn't try and go too hard, and if he's feeling good, don't try and throw too hard to this Yankees team. Do what he did in his first 2 starts against the A's and the Tigers. There's Dave Island, who was once a big prospect in the Yankees organization. In fact, I think you guys crossed paths, didn't you?
We did a little. He's behind me a few years, but he had a nice career.
Three balls and no strikes to Rodriguez.
Okay, with first base open, maybe Quintero went out there 2-0 and said, hey, Danny, why don't we just kind of see if we can pitch around him? Force out at any base. Left-handed hitting Cano on deck. He'll be swinging 3-0 if he gets one he likes.
And it's low, a 4-pitch walk. So 2 on for Robinson Cano. And Robinson Cano, who's had 2 great years the last 2 seasons. And you look at what he's done so far, and 1 home run, 4 RBIs doesn't look right.
Now, a lot of the hitters' averages don't look right in early May. But he can hit. There's no question about it. He wouldn't be batting 5th behind Alex Rodriguez if he couldn't. He's in his 7th year and is hitting 171 off lefties so far early.
And he's a different story than Curtis Granderson as far as what he does against left-hand pitching. Huge disparity. However, we must point out that when the Yankees beat Danny Duffy on August 16th here at Kauffman Stadium, and Duffy got whacked around in that game, allowed 8 runs in 3 innings. Cano hit a 3-run home run against Danny Duffy.
Overall, the Yankees batting .270 with runners in scoring position. Cano just hitting 143 with runners out there. .270 is not a bad mark. Premium teams that pick up the big hits usually hit .280 or better with runners out there. Okay, that's a nice effective pitch. He's going to have to back him off the plate a little bit, open up the outside part with that big hook.
That is pulled foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last time Danny Duffy pitched was on April the 22nd. It was against the Toronto Blue Jays, and he didn't get many hits until the 4th inning. Here's his line. But the Jays had some veteran hitters, and they were very patient with Danny Duffy. They didn't try and pull him. All the right-hand hitters had kind of a right field approach, and they really wore him down eventually. 116 pitches in 4 2/3 innings.
I think, you know, he's learned a lot from last season into his first few starts this season, and he seems a lot more calm out there. He seems more confident. Now, second visit here by Quintero in this inning. Getz is coming in, making sure that they get the right signs with a runner at second base. That's what Getz is doing in there. He's saying, all right, what sign are we going with? The first sign after 2, the third sign, after a wiggle. You know, there's a lot of different cadences they use, but the infielders need to know on a certain off-speed pitch whether to favor the hole. With a left-handed batter, he might pull it or a fastball, especially in mid-90s, they might play the other way a little bit. You got to be careful when you're moving, though. You don't give the location away.
Fastball at 99 miles an hour on the stadium radar gun, and Duffy has a scoreless first. Top of the first inning, and now here's Ned Yost's lineup coming up against right-hander David Phelps. Gerard Dyson will lead off and play in center field. If you didn't hear earlier, the Royals made a roster move. Yuniesky Betancourt is on the disabled list with a right ankle injury, so that opens up a regular position for Chris Getz. He will be the Royals' everyday second baseman. Got the game-winning RBI yesterday, and he will bat 8th tonight. And the Royals, for the first time, it seems like we've said this a lot this year, for the first time, they'll face David Phelps.
Happens a lot, especially early in the season when young guys have made the team. And now for David Phelps, he's taken Freddie Garcia's spot in the rotation. Keys for the Royals: get the pitch count up, take advantage of some nerves possibly in his first major league start, and get to the pin to win.
By my count, and this is game number 24, this is the 5th time already the Royals have faced a pitcher they have never seen before.
Okay, he's a strike thrower, in case you haven't noticed the first 2 pitches. He's got a sinking fastball and a 4-seam fastball. He'll go 88 to 95 with those 2 pitches. Slider, curve, and a change. You saw that nice little breaking ball there for strike 2. He goes right after you.
And he just missed with a fastball inside. 1-2 on Dyson.
David Phelps is highly competitive. He's a young guy, but his keys are going to be to get those secondary strikes over.
Just got a piece. Still 1-2. Drafted by the Yankees in 2008 in the 14th round out of Notre Dame. He is from St. Louis, so the Yankees estimated he had about 25 friends and family driving across the state to watch him make his first big league start. Still 1-2 on Gerard Dyson. Spent last year and the year before that in AAA, and he seems like a guy that's come out of nowhere, but David Phelps was on the Yankees' radar just in case they needed some help in the rotation. And as you mentioned, with Freddie Garcia pitching poorly, here you go.
Dyson doing a nice job fighting him off. Ooh, good location there. Tried to get him to swing over the top of that. Gerard looks patient tonight. See some pitches. The first batter of the game is usually a spy. He goes back and tells the other guys what he's got.
Over Rodriguez, off of Nunez's glove, and that's that. Dyson will have an infield single.
Just like that. That's an excellent at bat. He saw several pitches, 6 as a matter of fact, and was able to do what he does. That's what they want him to do. Slap that ball on the ground, cause some havoc. I'm telling you, if Nunez would have picked that ball cleanly, he may not have thrown him out anyway.
And now Ford will show us the Yankees on defense.
Okay, we've got some age in the outfield, and Andrew Jones still has a pretty good throwing arm. In his 17th year, he knows how to play out there. Russell Martin getting a chance to call those signals. Dyson now he's on. We'll see if he can rip off a base.
Strike 1, 2. Alex Gordon, who hit .393 on the road trip. That gets his average up to .244 overall. Alex had a couple of home runs. He was scoring runs. He was driving in runs. Scored 8 times and he drove in 7. 1-1.
Okay, watching Phelps come home, he looks pretty quick home, although he has a high leg kick. That'll give a little bit of time for Dyson if he wants to attempt the bag. But he does have quick feet on his throw over. Sometimes when you never faced a guy before, you want to see his move. You get what they call a one-way lead. Get as far off first as you can, get back just like that. There's his quick feet. Now, Dyson and the rest of the Royals saw that move, and Doug Sisson, of course, the excellent first base coach, is able to say, all right, guys, looks like he's pretty quick. Let's not get too careless out here.
And Doug Sisson wants to see as many moves as possible because he's an expert at picking apart a pitcher's move over to first base. A little bit outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike on Alex. The Royals noticed in spring training, Rex, that the league was adjusting to what they did last year, and the Royals stole the 2nd most bases in the American League, and the Royals stolen base numbers would appear to be down, but a lot of that has to do with teams trying to take the running game away. More slide steps.
Longtime broadcaster for the Yankees, Kenny Singleton, asked me before the game, "What are they running? Are they still running?" I said, absolutely.
Alex goes the other way. The wind will push it. Nix is back, and he makes the catch. And Nix, a natural infielder, trying to prolong his big league career by getting some action in the outfield, and makes a nice running play for the first out.
Okay, wind's going to take it from the right field foul pole to the left here at the K this evening. You see Nix heading back there. Made a nice running catch. Gerard Dyson did all he could do. You run right till you get to second base. In case he drops that ball, then you might be able to score from there. But running back to first base on a ball like that, you want to always watch the ball. Turn your head, because one of the guys could drop the ball. You could advance to second. I watched Dyson. He just kind of gingerly ran back to first without watching the ball. Dyson's got a lot to learn at the big league level, and they believe that he has the skills to do that. Sometimes it's the little things you can do with speed that can turn a game around on one little mistake, whether a guy bobbles it in the infield, drops it, take an extra base, guy gets a base hit, he scores. So always got to be on high alert out there, especially with that kind of weapon, speed.
And there it is. Phelps with a quick move over to first, and it gets away from Teixeira, and that's how Dyson gets to second base.
And that's another thing that speed does. We're mentioning speed. Pitchers are a little bit leery, so they're going to throw over, and they're not perfect. They make mistakes. Now he's in scoring position. Billy Butler hit him right in the ribs. Billy Butler, he's one of the Royals' best hitter with runners in scoring position, batting .435. See if he can pick a run up early here. Team overall at .251.
One ball and 1 strike. The Royals trying to win at home for the first time, so they're trying to put an end to that slump. And Billy Butler, who had a productive road trip, finished the last homestand 0 for his last 14.
Ooh.
Phelps slipped and threw it to the screen. And that's a good time for us to tell you about, if you haven't heard already, speaking of slipping and falling down, Mariano Rivera, the future Hall of Fame closer of the Yankees, injured himself during batting practice today. This was running down a fly ball, and twisted his right knee, and he had to be carted off the field.
That is a painful view to see. A 42-year-old Hall of Famer hurt his knee. Now, the diagnosis, they say, without an MRI was a sprained knee. But Ryan, you and I have seen these guys long enough. When a guy goes down like that, it holds his knee in that kind of agony, it could be worse. We'll have to hold back and wait and see what the test results are. But Phelps obviously gets caught up. See, his right foot, his right toe slipped on the top of the rubber.
I don't think I've seen that before. Usually it's the lead foot that slips.
And you'll see pitchers dig into that rubber to the front part so they can make sure they get a nice toe hold in there. But you're right. I don't remember seeing a guy slip off the top part of that rubber. Now he's going to dig a little bit, give himself a little bit of a foothold there. First major league start, you don't want to give away anything like that. Good rip by Billy.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Infield is back. 1 out, good chance for these guys to get on the board with some contact up the middle, or looks like to me on either corner, because Teixeira's back, A-Rod's back at third, Dyson's good speed, so Billy Butler can put it in play here. They might get a run early.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. I've always felt, Rex, that, you know, the big RBI guys, yeah, they hit home runs. Yeah, they get their share of 2- and 3-run doubles. But it's these RBIs right here that just add up over 6 months. Just a ground ball to get a runner home. Exactly. You'll get your big hits, but then you also pick up 1 here and 1 there, just with a well-placed out.
And Billy Butler is not exactly feeling for that last one. He had his A swing on it. Catcher Russell Martin was setting up off of the plate away, trying to maybe get him to chase. But Billy Butler doesn't get off balance too much. But his first at bat here, oh.
I don't know, slider down and away.
He fooled him. Russell Martin's putting his glove on the ground, means he wants it right there. Excellent pitch by the young rookie.
And now Eric Hosmer, who drove in a run in the first inning yesterday against Justin Verlander, putting an end to an 0 for 19.
Okay, Gerard Dyson at third base with Alex Rodriguez playing way off, almost in the hole at shortstop. He can get a big lead down there and be ready to advance on any ball that bounces to the left or right of Martin if he does bounce it.
A little bit outside, 2-0. Up the middle, and the Yankees were playing Hosmer up the middle, so a runner at third with 1 out does not score, and we have no score. Duffy got into a little bit of trouble in the first inning, gave up a single and a walk, but then blew away Robinson Cano.
And you know, Ryan, there's a term I like to use. That's what I call a Linda Ronstadt pitch. She had a song, and a great one, called Blue Bayou. and that's for you youngsters that don't know Linda. She had a great hit.
Wow. With the spin, that ball came back from the other side of the screen, and Andrew Jones is out on one pitch.
Now, that ball stayed up forever, and it was into the stands. But because it stayed up so high in the backspin that a hitter puts on that ball, that's why catchers turn around to the backstop and gets that ball coming back into him. It came all the way back. Watch Quintero. He's going to follow it. It's in the stands, but it's up there so high it's coming back. Duffy will take that out.
It's one of the first things you notice if you watch a Little League game and a catcher trying to catch a pop-up. How many times will they go back and then the ball lands over their head? It's because, you know, at first you have to learn the hard way about that spin.
And
the ball's going to come back to you.
You're right, but not just there. We've seen it up here.
One and one to Eduardo Nunez, who is playing at shortstop. The Yankees really wanted to be more intentional this year about keeping Derek Jeter's in the bat, or his bat in the lineup as a designated hitter. And he's the DH tonight, so Nunez, a good fielder, is at short, and he hits it to the Royals shortstop. Alcides Escobar, 2 up and 2 down. Tomorrow, the first 20,000 fans will get an MLB Network bag. Plus, it's Friday, so there'll be fireworks after the game presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Come out to support your boys in blue. Bruce Chen against CC Sabathia tomorrow at 7:10. Ball 1-2. Russell Martin. Duffy getting 2 outs on just 4 pitches.
It's good after 22 in the first inning.
Popped up. And this time it's Moustakas. A 6-pitch second inning. This is Phil Dixon, who lives in Belton, Missouri. He has written 9 books about the Negro Leagues and 1 book about Buck O'Neil. In fact, in 1990, Phil was one of 5 individuals, including Buck, who co-founded the Negro League Baseball Museum and is still on the board of governors. So he's sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game, 2 rows behind home plate, as we have no score to the bottom of the second inning.
Congratulations to sit in that seat. I know he feels honored, like everyone who sits there.
Royals had a runner at third with one out in the first inning, but David Phelps, making his first big league start, was able to strike out Billy Butler and got Eric Hosmer on a ground out to short. So it's Jeff Francoeur, Mike Moustakas, and Humberto Quintero in the second inning. One small victory, Rex, for the Royals, and you pointed this out in the first inning, was that the Royals did make Phelps throw 21 pitches.
See those pitches. Now the first 4 hitters that faced Phelps have all already went back in that dugout and told the other hitters what they saw. And that's what I mean by seeing as many as you can, like a spy, spreading the news to them. A good rip there, 2-0.
Now Phelps has thrown as many as 78 pitches in a game, but that was back on April 14th. And he is slowly, in his next 4 appearances, tapered down to 32. Last time he took the mound was Saturday, and only 32 pitches. The Yankees hope that he could go 75 to 90 pitches, but that's really a stretch. Hard slider, and it was called a strike. 3-2.
Right-handers have had a little bit better time against Phelps this year. 242 average, 3 homers he's given up to righties. Lefties just 148 with 1 homer.
Hanging breaking ball, and it's pounded on one hop to Rodriguez, and there is one away. We remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Miller Time could very well be provided by Mike Moustakas, coming off a 360 road trip. So he comes back home hitting over 300, 309.
Okay, watching the defense align when Moustakas came up, I saw Curtis Granderson in center field looking at Andrew Jones in right, talking to him with body language on where he was going to play him. He was telling him, I'm going to play him a little bit to pull, not quite straight up, and Andrew Jones looked at him and says, I'm going to be straight up. And he used his hands moving up and down. So when Granderson moves, the outfielders, other corners usually move with him.
2-1. And that's important at Kauffman Stadium because you're covering a pasture out there.
A lot of ground.
3 balls and 1 strike. So he's been 3-1 with the first 2 hitters of the inning. And Moustakas to center field. Granderson turns his back. He's all the way back, and it's gone.
That's what happens when the pitcher falls behind. Big, strong, young third baseman Mike Moustakas giving it a ride straight away center. Curtis Granderson can't defend that one. 3-1. Knows the fastball's coming. Short, compact swing. Good head position. Great balance. 1-0.
Now he's hit in 6 games in a row. That was his 13th RBI. 3rd highest total on the Royals. And it happens so often. A young pitcher gives up a home run, and then he's very careful to the next hitter, and it's 2-0 on Quintero.
Royals got a nice game plan going here. Kid might be a little nervous. You don't know that. Although the scouting reports on him says he doesn't rattle easily. He's calm under pressure. until you get out there.
3-1. And I would think the weather is a bit of an adjustment. It was cool in New York. Yankees coming here after a homestand. It's warm, it's muggy. It's always a bit of an adjustment when you play in a hot game for the first time.
But hitters will tell you they'll take this any day of the week. Perfect day for ball. Got a little sweat going. Baseball's a warm weather sport.
So Phelps comes back from 3-0 to strike out Quintero, and they're 2 down. Hope you'll join us this Saturday as we commemorate a signature moment in Royals history. The Royals will take on the Yankees at 6:10, and the first 20,000 fans receive a George Brett Mini Heintar bat presented by University of Kansas Hospital. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. And a strike 2. Chris Getz. Man, what an at-bat he had yesterday in the 9th inning against Joaquin Benoit, eventually driving in the go-ahead run.
Getz, like Gerard Dyson, has some speed to work with, so really any kind of ball he could fight off and put it in a hole, move a position player to make that play, he could beat it out, and that's what he did.
Slashed up the left field line and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So it's got to make Chris Getz feel pretty good. The fact that Ned Yost told him before the game, hey, look, you know, we're going to let you go out there for a little while. Yuniesky Betancourt, we're going to give him some time to heal up from that ankle that's bothered him from spring training. We're going to get that thing well so we can have a full 100% Yuniesky. So in the meantime, go out there and have some fun. And when a manager says that to a player, the player goes, have some fun. Yeah, I remember that. That's how you play your best. And when Chris Getz is at second base, he looks over to that guy, Escobar. He looks over at him and he sees a smile. And Getz told me that it relaxes him. It helps him feel better. More confident.
Ripped to right field, and that's going to roll to the screen. And Chris Getz has a 2-out double, his 4th double of the year.
Patient, got a breaking ball. He's out in front of it a little. Squared it up nicely. Looked like it might have been a fastball, could have been a straight change, but the way he swung that looked like he was out in front of it. He'll take a 2-out double.
In addition to the game-winning hit yesterday, Chris Getz also had a triple against Justin Verlander. And remember, we were hearing all spring training about his new stance and how that's going to help him generate more power. And now he's starting to pile up some of the extra base hits as Escobar fouls the first pitch away. And now, once again, David Phelps has a 20-pitch inning.
Escobar hitting 182 with runners in scoring position. The Royals 251 so far in the young season.
Ooh, hittable pitch. Escobar couldn't pull the trigger, and it's 0-2. Got him with a fastball away. So the inning is over. The homestand begins with an early moose call. Mike Moustakas with a 1-out home run to center field. Royals lead 1-0. a 1-0 lead, and we'll get the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. Mike Moustakas putting the Royals in front with his 4th home run in the 2nd inning. This is Jason Nix, and the Royals have seen him with the Rockies, the White Sox, the Indians. Former first-round pick of the Rockies, very good defensive infielder, and he is playing in left field for the Yankees tonight. Here's a look at our Time Warner pitch speed comparison. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Yankees are fighting some injuries at the moment. Brett Gardner, their regular left fielder, is on the DL. Nick Swisher has a sore hamstring, and Eric Chavez suffered whiplash against the Orioles last night, so he's on the 7-day concussion list, and that's what opened up a spot for Jason Nix.
Strangest thing, he apparently did it diving for a play defensively, but it hit him when he got to the plate, and then all of a sudden he stepped out, he got dizzy, and they had to carry him off or help him off the field.
And that's without even mentioning what we did earlier in the game. Mariano Rivera, with his right knee buckling on him while he was shagging during batting practice, had to be carted off the field and headed to University of Kansas Hospital to get an MRI.
All the years that Rivera has played, he's shagged in center field every day. It's a freak injury. And you know, Mariano really wanted to see if Joe Girardi would give him an inning in center field before his career ended. That's what an athlete he is, but sure was painful seeing that. And you know that's a real mental letdown for his teammates.
Got him looking. Nix was convinced it was ball 4. Royals hoping for a long outing from Danny Duffy tonight. Ned Yost would like to see the starting rotation pitching consistently deeper into games.
It's extremely important that we get more quality innings out of our starting rotation. Everything revolves around it. I mean, we can talk about the offense, we can talk about the defense, we can talk about the bullpen, but quite frankly, the most important group of guys we have on this team are our starting pitching. And we have to start getting more quality innings out of those guys.
And so far they've gotten 2 1/3 from Danny Duffy, who had a long first inning but then came back in the second and only needed 6 pitches. And a curveball is ripped and missed by Derek Jeter, who opened the game with a single.
Good first pitch selection there. Nice breaking ball to a first ball fastball hitting veteran, future Hall of Famer. That was an excellent pitch. You got to really trick him now. Quintero wants it up.
And fouled away. That's the second time that Jeter in an at-bat has gone after a fastball about shoulder high.
Identical situation as his first at-bat. He was down 0-2. This guy, he doesn't panic. But when you got that kind of fastball, or I like to call it fuzz, you go ahead and go upstairs and blow that by him. You can get a lot of swing and misses up there. Get the hitter's eye level up there, then you break the changeup and the breaking ball down low. Try to trick him. That's where Quintero wants it now.
And the curve is pulled fair over the bag. So Jeter down, no balls and 2 strikes. Gets his second hit of the night. So he adds to his .385 batting average.
Okay, Quintero wanted it in the dirt, and 0-2, that's where you put it. You can't leave it out or over the plate too much, or a hot hitter will do exactly that. Had he put that ball down where Quintero wanted it, he might have gotten a swing and miss.
And another milestone for Derek Jeter. That was double number 500.
Now he's hitting 600 against left-handers this season.
And coming up on 400 overall.
500th career double. Congratulations, Derek.
Granderson got underneath it but he was able to pull it into the seats.
Okay, we're entering the time of the evening where the ball can be tough to pick up out of the twilight up there, especially when there's cloud cover like is at Kauffman Stadium tonight. Couldn't be tough for outfielders. And Granderson hit that one up. I lost it, and I'm sure a couple of the other players did, but fortunately it went in the seats.
So now you got to get back to what you were describing earlier. A lot of communication in between the fielders, making sure that everybody's on the same page. And if you don't see it, there's no shame letting everybody else know you don't see it.
No, so you put your hands in the air like, you know, where is it? And the opposing outfielders have to close in. The guys on the opposite sides.
Duffy really wants to throw Granderson a curve, but he's missed high with the last two. 2 balls and 1 strike. And some heat away. 2-2.
Liked how Derek Jeter took a peek out and looked around to the outfielders. Less than 2 outs. Very fundamentally sound guy. Makes a mental note of where they are.
Good fastball again. 97 miles an hour. Duffy has his 3rd strikeout.
Okay, when you got that above average fastball and you put it where you want it, not too many hitters can hit it. Perfect location on both of them, identical spots. Duffy looks under control tonight.
And now it's Mark Teixeira with Jeter at second base and 2 outs. Teixeira, normally a slow starter, and then starts warming up when the weather does. And batting right around 220 in the month of April, and Duffy got him on a ground ball to 3rd in the 1st inning.
So even though his first few years in New York he started off slow, the media is a little bit hard on you. They were on him. But you know, managers don't panic with veteran players that have track records of slow starts. And like you've heard so many times, they don't ask you how you started the season, they ask you how you finished it up. And real players show up in the second half of the season. Now, you want to do your best to get off to a good start, and he has. I think he had 1 year in his 10th year now that he had a good first half. But typically, some guys are slow starters. Pitchers, lots of times, are ahead of you this time of year.
Ooh. And right after Quintero goes out to talk to Duffy, they were still crossed up with the signs. And if a catcher is ever going to not know what's coming, you hope that he's going to get something off speed, not a fastball.
Mid-90s. So Quintero's had several meetings with Duffy so far early in this one. Duffy kind of shook his head, kick in the dirt, saying, man, let's go. Sometimes that'll break the rhythm. He's got a good thing going now.
Curveball is high, 2-0.
Sometimes there's an issue with the pitcher not being able to see the signs the catcher puts down. So, you know, Brian Pena, he paints his nails white.
And Teixeira hits it into right center field, and that will tie the game.
Teixeira just hitting 207 from the right side of the plate. Got him one he liked. Right over the middle. We've seen Danny Duffy when he puts his fastball where he wants it. They can't hit it, but when it's down the middle, these guys are really good at what they don't miss it.
And it brings up Alex Rodriguez, who had a 4-pitch walk in the first. And that was with an open base, and Duffy really wasn't even close with Rodriguez in the first. And after he walked, Danny struck out Robinson Cano to end the inning. And that ball gets away from Quintero, but not far enough for Teixeira to go to third. It's 2-0. And now Dave Island is going to go out and have a word with Duffy and Quintero.
You can see the meetings between Quintero and Duffy, and now Dave Island coming out. Once Danny Duffy starts getting through the first 3 or 4 innings of his games with some consistency, finding the strike zone, that little pump on the chest there by Super Dave Island was a confidence pump. They're going to start leaving him alone a little bit, but he's still young and they're still trying to bring him along here. Maybe sometimes too much.
While we have a moment, we want to invite you to bring the kids out to the game. For every family fun day Sunday, they'll enjoy face painters, balloon artists, kids entertainment by Radio Disney, and much more. Sundays at the ballpark is your family destination. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. 2-1 on Alex Rodriguez. In this inning, we saw Derek Jeter get his 500th career double. Well, earlier this season, Alex Rodriguez has passed Ken Griffey Jr. for 5th on the all-time home run list. He has 633, and he has passed Willie Mays for 8th all-time in RBIs. And for the second time tonight, he will walk. So first and second with Robinson Cano coming up.
Dave Island's watching the pitch count. 51 pitches expended by Danny Duffy. 28 strikes, 23 balls. So not exactly the ratio he wants, but so far he's keeping his team in the game. Typically he's a high pitch count guy for the early innings. At high fastball they foul off a lot.
Ball 1 to Cano, who struck out with a fastball in the first inning. That was with 2 on and 2 out. And now he bats with 2 on and 2 out. Teixeira at second. He doubled in Jeter to tie the game. And Rodriguez is at first. One and one.
He struck out Cano with that fastball right there. It looks like Cano's having a hard time catching it. It's out over the middle. But you can get away with pitches out over the middle when you throw that hard. Sometimes.
Grounded to Getz. Force at second base to end the inning. Yankees get a couple of doubles to tie the game at 1. 1-1 tie. Mike Moustakas has a home run for the Royals. And Mark Teixeira has an RBI double for the Yankees. Our Sprint You Call It question for tonight, simply, who do you most like to see the Royals beat? Is it the Cardinals, the Red Sox, the Tigers, or the Yankees? We'll see the Yankees and the Red Sox on this homestand. The Yankees for 4, the Red Sox for 3.
How about an E category for all the above?
Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, then a space followed by A, B, C, or D. Yankees are already trying to take the bunt away with Rodriguez and Teixeira in on the corners. Dyson reached with an infield single in the first inning, hit a high chopper over Rodriguez, so taking advantage of the third baseman being in. And now he chops it up the middle for another leadoff single. Dyson is 2 for 2.
Okay, that's exactly what he wants to do. Pull those corners in, fake the bunt. You can slap it by them or find the biggest hole in the diamond right up the middle.
And now we'll see if Dyson was able to learn something about Phelps' move back in the first inning. Will he take off here? Alex Gordon flied out to the warning track in left field in the first inning. And he takes off speed for strike 1.
Okay, Phelps, he'll sink his fastball again. He's got a nice little 4-seam fastball, slider, curve, and a change. So he's going to try to mix them up second time around here. Gordon hit a nice ball to the warning track in left field that was run down by Nix. Hard as Phelps throws that ball over to first base, he really doesn't care that much because Teixeira is like throwing to a big pillow. Excellent glove.
Mark Teixeira has won 4 Gold Gloves at first base. Now it's 0-2 on Alex.
You know, lots of times if it's quiet out there and the first base coach has something to tell you, he'll sneak over to the outfield side of your ear. Don't want the first baseman to hear it.
Fastball struck him out looking. So 3 pitches. Down goes Alex. And for Phelps, that's 4 strikeouts.
2 breaking balls in a row and a 4-seam fastball high. That's a pretty good job of pitching now. I think he just fooled Alex.
You know, pitchers of his style, and he's not a real hard thrower, he's more of a control pitcher, they will get a lot of strikeouts with that pitch because they will convince the hitter in a pitcher's count that here comes a changeup, here comes a slider, here comes a curveball, and they just sneak that fastball in there.
In 0-2, they don't waste pitches anymore either. They go right after you. So when you got 2 strikes on you, you're down in the count 0-2. You almost got to be leaning out over the plate thinking, all right, I'm going to be protective here.
Teixeira telling Phelps, calm down, calm down. And Phelps made a wild throw in the first inning to Teixeira that hit Dyson and allowed Gerard to move up to second base.
Okay, Billy Butler, he's grounded into 4 double plays this year. Ned Yost might want to run Dyson.
And there's a ground ball base hit into left. So that puts an end to an 0 for 15 for Billy Butler here at Kauffman Stadium, and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
That away, Billy Butler. Go ahead and find that hole.
And now Eric Hosmer with 2 on and 1 out. Hosmer was just 4 out of 29 on the road trip, but he did mix in 4 RBIs, including this one in the first inning yesterday against Justin Verlander.
Yeah, he hit that ball exactly where Verlander put it, up and away. And he went with it. I mean, it's a long way, 430 out there in center.
Phelps jumps ahead with a strike.
Hardest 181 I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's had his share of at-bats where he didn't swing at good pitches, but he right now is the Royals' bad luck dude. He by far has the most well-hit outs.
So you would agree with me?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if his batting average was a reflection of how hard he's hit the ball, I think you could add at least 100 points to his batting average. But when Eric Hosmer comes to the plate right now, all he sees is a big glove.
And you just keep doing what you're doing, you'll find holes and get hot. This is his 95th at bats. No big deal. He can make great gains with multi-hit games. 2 or 3, he's hitting 300.
Got a slider, pretty good swing on it, and fouled it away. And with Hosmer at the plate against the Yankees, it wasn't here at Kauffman Stadium, but we all remember that first major league home run against A.J. Burnett at new Yankee Stadium with his mom, dad, and brother watching. Got to the big leagues on May 6th and hit that first home run on May the 11th. Rex, one of the most enjoyable things about last year was watching the families share the experiences with their sons.
No question. That's always fun. Look at that swing. First big league home run at Yankee Stadium. Go ahead, Mom. That's my son. Oh. Yes.
There's a good sign right there. That's a changeup down and away, a pitch that Eric's been trying to hit. And he lays off to make it 3-2.
He spit on it now with Phelps making his first big league start. He walked to the back of the mound, picked up the rosin bag, threw it down. Sign of, uh-oh, what am I going to do here? Well, Hosmer needs to look for something out over. Don't sit on a certain pitch because he might try to trick you. Just look for a ball out over and trust your hands. Let your hands do the damage. And he's got great hands. Uses the whole field. Granderson playing shallow in center field.
Up the middle. Dyson is around third. Granderson won't bother with a throw. So Hosmer drives in his 15th of the year and puts the Royals back out in front.
Okay, nice and easy. Look for a ball he can handle. Didn't try to do too much with it. That'll help his confidence big time. You get the lousy singles, the base hits, the homers come. So hit with a runner in scoring position tonight, and that's what the Royals want to continue to do. Pass that baton on to Frenchie here.
At the knees over the outside.
Two seam sinking fastballs, changeups, little sliders down low. Is what Phelps is hoping to do to get Frenchie to roll over. Frenchie wants to try to stay inside that ball.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Try to put together a big inning here.
And he got the call. Home plate umpire is Vic Carapazza, and he has had a pitcher-friendly strike zone, it appears, so far tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes. Francoeur last year hit .391 against the Yankees. Royals and Yankees split the season series at 3 wins apiece, with the Yankees winning a series here and the Royals winning a series in New York. Big swing by Francoeur. Still 2-2. There's the Frenchie Quarter. They've all got their Frenchie Quarter yellow T-shirts on for the select Thursday dates. Home plate umpire trying to correct the scoreboard, which had it at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Butler at second, Hosmer at first. And Francoeur doing everything he could just to put the bat on the ball.
You know, he's a dangerous 2-strike hitter because of the ability to swing at pitches out of the zone. And you know, with 2 strikes on you, with the runner in scoring position, anything close you want to be swinging. Take a chance to doink one in there. Do all you can to get as many runs off as you can against the Yankees and the other team. Especially Kid Phelps making his first start.
That was out over the plate. Francoeur almost came out of his shoes with that swing. Still 2-2. Russell Martin going out there and saying, I know this guy doesn't have a home run yet this year, but we better be careful with pitches spinning and up and out and over the plate.
Now, just because the Royals haven't faced Phelps before, they know that he's a strike thrower. They know he doesn't. You can tell by looking at the amount of walks and strikeouts he has. He's got over abundance of strikeouts, but right here, Frenchie wants to continue to stay on his path, fight out the pitches, and just chip one in there.
Right where they wanted it, but a little bit inside. 3-2. This will be pitch number 70 for David Phelps, making his first major league start and his first start of the year. He's been with the Yankees all season of pitching out of the bullpen. And Francoeur down on strikes.
Coming into this game, David Phelps had just 7 walks, 14 strikeouts. He comes at you. His secondary pitches look pretty good. They're all right around the plate. Changeup moves down, a slider that moves down. A little sinker and a 4-seam fastball he's using upstairs.
Curveball is high to Mike Moustakas. We've talked about the Chris Getz at bat that put the Royals in front in the 9th inning, but Mike Moustakas helped set up that inning. He had the double in the 9th against Joaquin Benoit, and then he scored on the Chris Getz base hit to put the Royals in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then in his first at bat tonight, ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Hit a home run to straightaway center field. And there you go. The Yankees are already working in the bullpen. Clay Rapata, a lefty, just starting to play catch, and now Moustakas is down 1-2.
Royals need a big hit. Get into that pin to win. Still early.
Still 1-2.
Speaking of big hits, how about yesterday? The Moose hit one off the wall. But then Getzy with this game winner. Second inning tonight. Got one. 3-1 fastball. It's behind the count 1-2 here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Moustakas has hit in 6 in a row. That was his 4th home run of the year. And he has his overall batting average up to .317. Remember, he just went 1 for 11 during the season opening road trip.
Going good, you go big fly, dead center, squaring up the ball, you're right on it. So I would say he's hot here, but he's got to make sure that he widens up the zone a little.
Chops it out to Cano, who slings it over to first. Royals regain the lead. Gerard Dyson opens the inning with a single, and Eric Hosmer brings him home. Royals with a 2-1 lead to the top of the 4th inning. This is a Frenchie Quarter night at the ballpark, and fans with their Frenchie Quarter t-shirts out in right field. And we just saw a fan rolling up a banner in the right field corner, a banner that said Bourbon Street, staying in the theme of the French Quarter.
Frank Coeur loves that attention. Are you kidding me? Almost as much as he likes, as Mike Moustakas loves to hear the crowd say moose after he makes a play or hits a big hit. These guys have good personalities and they love the fans.
Danny Duffy, 2 balls and no strikes to Andrew Jones. Duffy pitching with the lead again, and Andrew Jones fouled out to Humberto Quintero in the 2nd inning. And now 3 balls and no strikes. Duffy has walked 2, and both times those are against Alex Rodriguez. Three and 1. Andrew Jones had a stretch, Rex, of 10 straight Gold Gloves in center field for the Braves.
Unbelievable run. And now he's up there for all or nothing. Ooh.
And a rocket right over Duffy's head and into center field.
He takes a rip, and he pretty much goes up there looking for a homer every time. But you know, you mentioned that, those numbers, the fact that he's in his 16th year. Gosh, you know, you got to think that he's got a chance for the Hall of Fame someday. May not be a first ballot guy, but an all-star for 5 years. Hank Aaron Award.
You know, we watched in our league Ken Griffey Jr. play center field and win all those Gold Gloves, and we didn't get a chance to see much of Andrew Jones, but people who saw Andrew Jones on a regular basis think that he might be the best center fielder ever.
It's hard to argue with his kind of success, and he's still only 34 years old. He's got 420 career homers coming into the season.
One and 1 to Eduardo Nunez, who grounded out to short in the 2nd inning.
That was a well-placed changeup right there. Good spot.
Two and 1.
Jones is not a threat to run over there. He used to run early in his career. He doesn't anymore.
Moustakas backhands out at second base. Double play.
That wasn't an easy chance. That's to his backhand side towards the line. 2-hop short pick. Good transfer from glove to hand. That's what made that double play. Got to get rid of it quickly. First man sure, second man quick. There you go. Okay, you know what? That's okay. Duffy is liking that right there. But I know Dave Island's been talking with Danny Duffy about his body language, and that's a very important language that's spoken out here. You hear me talking about it a lot because it's the premium language. And hitters feed off of emotion from a pitcher, whether it's bad body language or good body language.
And then if you, as you've described before, there's good body language that can actually be bad body language when a pitcher celebrates too much on the mound for a good play on defense.
Exactly. And so hitters go, they see that and they go, oh, okay. So you want pom-poms out there. We'll show you.
So the double play is huge as Martin singles with 2 outs. He's 1 for 2.
So Dave Island said when he talked to Danny about that, Danny said, well, you know, I really appreciate a good play. So Dave Island says, Okay, that's a big league play behind you. That's what he's supposed to do. Congratulate him in the dugout. Don't give the other hitters anything.
Any more incentive to be fired up to beat you.
Exactly. Just try to be as poker face as you possibly can.
Outside to Jason Nix, who struck out in the 3rd inning. Duffy throws to first, and he's called for a balk. So the crowd thinks the inning is over, but Phil Cuzzy, the first base umpire, immediately threw his arms into the air, and Russell Martin will be awarded second base.
Well, he started home. Okay, his leg already crossed the rubber, and then when he saw out of the corner of his eye Martin taking off, he threw over. And Phil Cuzzy, you could see him pointing right away.
You know what, Rex? I don't have a problem with that. And here's why. If a runner gets a jump like that, he's going to get second base. And he's going to be in motion. So if a ball is hit, you got a runner in motion, he might be able to score from first base. So you take your shot. Maybe the umpire doesn't see it and you get an out. But he was going to get second base if Duffy throws to the plate.
I'd agree with you. Anything wrong with that?
You never know. You might get a first base umpire who just happens to be out to lunch when you throw it over there and he doesn't see it and you get an out.
Even though most of the men in black will tell you they eat a good lunch and won't miss that call.
3-1. And Duffy really wants to get Jason Nix, the number 9 hitter, because waiting on deck is Derek Jeter, who is singled and doubled tonight against Danny Duffy, and hitting right around 400 for the season. And that might have been ball 4. So Nix helping Duffy out a little bit.
Doesn't want to get to the guy on deck. Even though first base is open, who cares? There's 2 outs. Go right after this guy with that good hard fastball. Jeter's unconscious. Only hitting 600 off of lefties. 2 for 2 tonight. Go get Nix.
And Nix hits it down around the end of the bat, but it carries, and Dyson runs it down. So Duffy gets 2 good defensive plays behind him as the Yankees are scoreless in the 4th.
Great first step.
Royals Baseball is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealer. By Steel. Find a helpful servicing Steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com. And by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And our television crew fulfilling the mandatory rule that whenever there is a full moon or close to a full moon, you always have to put it on TV. Always.
Beautiful
There's
shot.
a fine if you don't. Steve Kurtenbach, our director, is our lunar expert. What was that, K-Man? That was a waxing gibbous. Not to be confused with a waning gibbous. Boy, Robinson Cano, is he smooth or what? Quintero is 0 for 2. Let's bring in Joe Goldberg.
Ryan, you talked before about Irving Falou, and it's really a pretty amazing story because he's now tied with Mitch Meyer as the longest tenured Royals on the 25-man roster. 949 career minor league games. He could play second, short, third, and he'll be in the utility role. Can even play some outfield. He's done that. He got a call last night after the game in Nashville. Omaha was in Nashville from manager Mike Jershwing. And, you know, we've said before, Jersh can mess with guys a little bit, but he got the call in his room, and Jersh said, "You made it." And Falou said, "I made what?" He said, "You made it to the big leagues." And Falou said, "There's no chance. This can't be true." He didn't believe it, didn't get any bit of sleep at all last night, couldn't sleep, called everybody, and now here he is after all those years being drafted in 2003.
Sound familiar, Mr. Hudler?
Absolutely. I commend him for his hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Not giving up. Congratulations.
How many years for you before you got that call?
Okay, now it was 6 years before I got my first call, but I ended up doing 10 years of the minor leagues, no question. But look, you can't quit. Look at all this. And remember, the paycheck they get down there is nothing like the one they get here.
A drive again from Chris Getz, and the 10-time Gold Glover, Andrew Jones, glides back to the track to make a catch.
I didn't think he was going to get that. But once an athlete, always an athlete. Getz put a good drive in. To talk about how he stood up more out of his crouch for his front leg, gives him a little bit more leverage, therefore a little more power. He's using his bottom half, and that guy, Andrew Jones, runs it down. Raul Ibanez usually gets a chance out there. With the lefty throwing. I think Joe Girardi said, "I'm going to go with Andrew Jones."
No balls and 2 strikes on Escobar. You know, we saw very little of Jones. We did see him in interleague play. And the thing I remember about him is he played so shallow in center field. I mean, he took every bloop away, but he had the first step to be able to handle everything over his head. And remnants of that in this inning, running down the Chris Getz line drive. That's the first 1-2-3 inning for David Phelps, thanks in part to Andrew Jones. DH tonight, and as the DH, he is 2 for 2.
And all over the ball. Both at bats, he was down 0-2. Duffy was pitching him exactly how he wanted to until that pitch found too much of the plate in his last at bat. This guy is on fire, leading the league in hits. He's gotten off to a tremendous start, and when you're in a groove like that, you're going to hit everything.
Toyota league leaders, and these are updated numbers, a 600 batting average against lefties.
I mean, you showed you that shot of the moon. That's what the ball looks like to Derek Jeter right now.
Remember last year talking about slow starts. He got off to a very slow start after signing a new contract, and people wondered how much Derek Jeter had left. And then he injured his calf and had to go back to Tampa, where the Yankees have their spring training, rehabbed his calf, fine-tuned his swing, ended up getting his 3,000th hit in July, and after getting his 3,000th hit right around 340 in the second half of the season. 2-1.
Sign of a real pro, finishing strong. Not how you start, but I'll tell you, they were out on him last year. All the fans and all the people saying, "Oh, he's done. He's washed up. What are we going to do?" You know, steady as she goes. He's got a good approach. This guy is a Hall of Famer, first ballot surefire, but he understands you don't get too high. You don't believe how good they tell you are, and when you're going bad, you don't believe how bad you're going. Let's try to stay in the middle somewhere. He does that.
3 balls and 1 strike. We just showed you among active players, the most career hits, and Jeter has the most, and right behind him is Omar Vizquel. That also happens to be the top 2 all-time for hits as a shortstop. Derek Jeter has the most hits as a shortstop in Major League history, the most hits in Yankee history, and the most hits in postseason history.
And Derek Jeter was all over that 95-mile-an-hour Danny Duffy offering. He was right on it. So maybe Duffy can find a way to get him out. Outfield playing him a little bit to the opposite field, as that's where really he lives. He's got a great inside-out swing. Good fastball like that, though. Challenge him.
He does, and it's at the knees for a strikeout. Eric wants to talk the strike zone over with Vic Carapazza, and for Duffy, that's 4 strikeouts.
Okay, excellent spot by Duffy. Now Derek Jeter saying, "Excuse me, I know you're new umpire, but I'm Derek Jeter." They usually let me take my base on that. Not really. But Derek thought it was a little low, but perfect execution by Danny.
Well, I'm sure he didn't say exactly that, but
He did.
But that's implied sometimes when you're talking about a guy of his stature. I mean, that's nothing new that a guy like Derek Jeter has maybe a little strike zone. He's earned it, a little smaller strike zone than a guy that's just getting started.
There's no question. That's how umpires are. They have respect for a guy that's been in the league as long as Derek Jeter in his 17th year in the big leagues. But had they walked him there, no one would have said anything. They would have said, "Oh, that's Derek Jeter." Glad to see Duffy get the call. From a young Vic Carapazza.
That will be out of play. Remember, the fan vote to pick the starters for this year's All-Star Game in Kansas City has begun. You can now vote for all of your favorite Royals players. So play your part by punching a ballot when you come out to the game, or go to Royals.com/votes to crown a Royal. Breaking ball strikes out Curtis Granderson. Second time that Duffy has gotten Granderson tonight. And that's 5 for Danny. 2 away.
Okay, Danny, working good. That ball started a foot behind Granderson. That's the kind of break it had on it. That'll fool a guy. Now, even though Granderson's made some adjustments and hitting lefties a little better, you ain't going to hit that with a bow door.
Mark Teixeira tied the game at 1 with a 2-out double in the 3rd inning. Prior to that, he was just 4 for 35. No balls and 2 strikes. Duffy's is coming right at the Yankees in this inning.
Gotta like it. 11 days off. Thought we might see a wild Danny Duffy just because of his makeup and how high strung he is and how lively his fastball is, and he has been under control this whole game.
3 up and 3 down. So Duffy qualifies for a win as the Royals lead 2-1. Two-1 Royals. Rex, good night for Gerard Dyson. He's been getting on base and then making plays on defense.
2 singles, scored a run, looks good, slapping that ball around using that speed. Coming around to score that run. And now, the Home Depot doing more on defense. Watch this. Don't catch this one unless you get a great first step, caught it at the track, save Danny Duffy. Home Depot doing more on defense like Gerard Dyson.
And Dyson will lead off for the 3rd time tonight. The Yankees make a Chevy call to the bullpen. Clay Rapata comes on, so starter David Phelps goes 4 innings. He threw 85 pitches. Rapata's had scoreless outings in his last 3 against Texas, Detroit, and then he pitched last night against Baltimore.
Side armor, fastball, slider, change up to righties.
1 ball, 1 strike.
If Gerard can somehow find a way to get on, you might see him try to steal on Rapata, who doesn't hold runners very well and takes a long time to get to home. So maybe Dyson can stay hot. Slap his way on. The corners are in.
2 balls and 1 strike. Dyson has not been with the Royals all year, but still has his average up to 346 with a couple of hits tonight and a run scored. And he's hit in 7 straight games. And, you know, when a guy leads off, and if a hitter allows that to get into his mind about what do I need to do, sometimes you'll say, well, don't worry about it. You only lead off once a game. But this will be the 3rd time that Dyson leads off an inning. And he's gotten on the first 2. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, his swing looks short. He's got a nice short swing. That's what produces little line drives, little slap base hits. Now the outfield is playing you shallow. That's okay. When you have that kind of speed, just go ahead and shorten up your swing and use it. And it's tough against a lefty that throws from the sidearm position. First thing a hitter wants to do is pull that front foot out and backside out and only swing with your arms. Really, that plays into Dyson's hands here.
And 3-2.
Joe Girardi does an excellent job with the bullpen. He doesn't pitch guys 3 days in a row. He knows each one of these guys' strengths. Does an excellent job with the pen.
Borderline call. The Royals got one against Jeter in the top half of this inning, and now the Yankees get one against Gerard Dyson.
Okay, look at all these balls on our Fox tracks. 7 pitches, all of them away, away, away. Caught him looking on that last one.
Borderline, to say the least.
I'm thinking that was pretty close, but if you don't want to get called out, you got a hack or they'll send you back.
Alex Gordon tonight lost an extra base hit on a fine play in deep left field by Nix in the first, and then struck out against Phelps in the third. One and one.
Deception is what the pitcher uses, and this guy Rapata, he hides that ball well behind his back and also has a little pause in his delivery. So all those he's using. There's another guy in the pen.
DJ Mitchell.
So DJ will likely come in. Rapata, left-handed specialist. See how he hides that ball and he pauses it down? A little pause, he's a little deceptive, and then when the hitter can't see the ball till it comes flinging out of his left hand, he's going to get a lot of rollout, ground ball outs, some pop-ups, and some strikeouts on some lefties.
Didn't get that call. It's 3-1. Oh, 1-out walk. And now we'll see if Joe Girardi will make that move. He is out of the dugout with Billy Butler coming up. And he will call on DJ Mitchell. So Rapata gets 2 hitters, gets a strikeout, allows a walk, and another Chevy call to the bullpen for the Yankees.
Bottom of the 5th, KC holding the lead 2-1 here at the K. DJ Mitchell being brought in. And Joe Girardi, unfortunately, earlier today suffered a tremendous injury. We hope it's not really bad. That's Mariano Rivera that went down shagging a fly ball at batting practice. That was terrible. Hope he's going to be okay, but we see Joe Girardi's list there for right-handers. You can cross out Mariano. He will not be a factor, and hopefully it is what they said initially, a sprained knee. But when a guy goes down like that in that kind of pain, chasing a fly ball, that means usually more. But he'll undergo MRI, and that's where they look at the soft tissue inside the knee, and hopefully everything's okay.
Ball one from Mitchell to Billy Butler. Singled in the third inning, struck out in the first.
DJ Mitchell, he's got a good fastball. He's going to sink that fastball. A little slider changeup. Fades away his changeup from lefties and into righties.
Two balls, no strikes.
Okay, Eric Hosmer, look where he is in relation to Billy Butler. Okay, you see the on-deck circle is where all the bats, or the weighted bats and the donuts, all those things are. Hosmer's about 25 feet close to the home plate, so you really got to be careful and make sure you watch the hitter on a foul ball over there.
And how close is too close, where you don't upset the pitcher, that you're getting a little too good of a read of what he's throwing?
Usually, you know, if you're on the grass or something, but you know, sometimes you watch it, you see where the on-deck circle is right there. Okay, he's way up closer to home, and really he's getting better timing on the pitcher.
I mean, and where he's standing too, I mean, he's hardly off to the side. I mean, he's almost behind home plate, so he can also judge the movement of the pitches.
And that's smart for Hosmer. Now, typically in the game like this, no one's going to pick that up, okay, except for maybe somebody up here like myself who watches the field. But when it upsets the pitcher is when he's taking his warm-up pitches and you stand inside the dirt closer to home plate while he's doing his warm-up pitches. Billy Butler here is getting a dose of pitches on the outside part of the plate, as Fox Track shows.
Alex runs, and Billy grounds it. Nunez thought about going to second base. He has time to throw out Billy Butler, so a good decision for the Royals to be going, because that ball was hit hard enough. If Nunez wasn't moving to second, it's probably a double play.
It was. Billy would have pulled it just a little bit more because Nunez was going to cover. He tried to flip, he didn't, but a good athlete shuffled his feet and got him going towards first base and was able to make the throw. And that is Nunez's best position at shortstop. When Derek Jeter was on the DL last year, he did a brilliant job filling in for him at short. Now this year they're playing him at third and some in the outfield, but tonight Nunez is in his spot.
Strike to Eric Hosmer, who put the Royals in front in the third inning with a single to center field that drove in Gerard Dyson. Hosmer's 15th RBI of the year, second only to Billy Butler.
Okay, last at bat for Eric Hosmer. Okay, good patience there. Wasn't trying to do too much. Got him a full count, got him pitch, made him throw it to him. Didn't try to do too much. Same situation goes here. He's facing a guy that's not overpowering in DJ Mitchell. He's got a changeup. Those sinkers are going to be running away from him.
Line to left field. Alex will be held. That ball was just hit too hard. And Alex would have been out by a mile if he tried to score. Hosmer has a two-hit game.
All right, Eddie Rodriguez, third base coach for the Royals, does a great job here. That ball's hit hard. Eddie Rodriguez, he's watching the outfielder field it. He's got the stop sign up to Gordon, don't do it. The one-hop throw by Nix would have nailed him cold at the plate. One hopper right to Russell Martin. when you got to put on the brakes going around third base like that, that can be tricky when you're going full speed. So but when your legs are in great condition like Gordon's, no problem.
First and third, and ball 1 to Jeff Francoeur, who is 0 for 2 against Phelps. Phelps struck him out with a nasty slider in the third inning and got him on a ground ball to third in the second. Two and 0.
Two hits with runners in scoring position tonight. There you go. 2 for 7.
But there you go. You hit the ball so hard that you get that hit with runners in scoring position, but it doesn't produce a run. And Francoeur laying off an off-speed pitch that was down. Now 3 balls, no strikes with Moustakas on deck.
Okay, now he doesn't necessarily have to swing 3-0 here, even though I'm sure Ned Yost would turn him loose. And when you got the Moose on deck, take the base.
And that's chopped foul, 3-1. Do you think it makes a difference? Now, Francoeur has been around and he's had some big home run RBI years, but this is the first time Francoeur has faced Mitchell, so he doesn't really have a lot of information. Does that have anything to do with whether he gets a green light or not?
I think the fact that it's a feel thing for Ned Yost, and he relays that sign to Eddie Rodriguez, and hitters will look down there, and Eddie has a sign for take or to swing away, and he goes with a feel.
And he will walk, and they're loaded up for Moustakas. Rothschild, former manager of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, now pitching coach of the Yankees, will go out and help Mitchell figure out a way to get out of this inning. The Royals have other plans. Mike Moustakas homered back in the second inning. He has a 6-game hitting streak, and he hit .360 on the road trip.
Okay, back in the second inning. A 3-1 fastball. Outer half, hit it right where he wanted to hit it. Straight away. Got a little bit of the back underneath of that baseball. Put it out of here. Sponsored by Mazda. Now Moose would love to see something like that again, or really just any kind of a hit here to give the Royals and Danny Duffy a little cushion. The Royals are only 1 for 9 this year with bases loaded. They need a big hit. Take some pressure off of the Royals pitching staff. You can see him swung around. Big hole up the middle.
Breaking ball is down and in. With 1 out, Gordon walked, then the pitching change. With 2 outs, Hosmer singled and Francoeur walked. 2-0.
Okay, now you don't want to be too aggressive with a heavy, hard swing. Keep the same approach as the home run in the first. Stay inside the ball. Don't try to pull him. Hit it. That ball's going to be going away from him. Just like Hosmer went to left field.
Swinging and a ground ball into right field. Jones was very deep, so the Royals will get 2. It is a 4-1 game, and Moustakas has driven in 3.
Go ahead and drive the bus, Moose. Fans love this third baseman, and he's just starting to heat up. Big hit with the bases loaded. Lousy single. Got 2 runs. He got a little cushion now. A little 3-1 cushion. That's going to help Danny Duffy and the rest of the staff.
And now Quintero, who was 0 for 2 against Phelps. And a strike at the knees. Oh, 0-2.
Big walk there by Frenchie. Took his 3-0 hack, but he said, all right, I got a guy that's behind me that can do the job. That's what Seitzer's talking about back when they were 0-10 here, the first homestand. He says, guys, not one guy has to carry the load. Let the next guy do it if you can't do it. Just so happens that Mike Moustakas is driving the bus tonight. 3 stakes.
Still 0-2 on Quintero.
Okay, he had a pitch up there, and Quintero, he's definitely got that defensive swing going. That's good. Short and quick. Just go ahead and tap it out there somewhere and pick up that extra ribby there. And Francoeur sitting down there at third base. Also, keep in mind, Eddie Rodriguez, had he sent Gordon on that, they would have been out of the inning. So a good job by Eddie Rodriguez, the third base coach, holding them up.
Loop to right. Andrew Jones is there. The inning comes to an end. Once again, it's Mike Moustakas. 2 outs and the bases loaded. He drives in 2 and has 3 RBIs tonight.
Moose is loose.
Mike Moustakas has 3 of the 4 RBIs for the Royals tonight, a 3-run lead to the 6th inning. Tonight is the first Frenchie Quarter Thursday of the year, with fans of Jeff Francoeur packing the right field seats. Today's cheering section sold out quickly, so don't miss the next event. That's Thursday, June 14th. It's the Royals and the Brewers in interleague play. And just a $21 ticket gets you a seat in right field, a limited edition Frenchie Quarter t-shirt, and Mardi Gras beads. Tickets at royals.com/Frenchie. Jeff Francoeur setting up that Moustakas hit with a walk. And now Danny Duffy trying to give the Royals 6 innings. Only Danny knows how the elbow feels, but the elbow looks good tonight. Still throwing in the 90s with his fastball. 2 walks with 5 strikeouts, and the 2 walks against this man right here, Alex Rodriguez. Oh, and 2.
I've liked his poise since the very first pitch of the game against Derek Jeter. He got Jeter 0-2. Jeter milked 7-8 pitches. On the 8th pitch, got a base hit. But he's been in command. He's been pitching his game.
Throws it by him at 97.
Got that kind of fuzz on your fastball? Go ahead and challenge him 0-2. Don't try to get cute with him. That's nice. He's on top of his game, and that's what you do after your team just got you some more runs there. Get back in that dugout and keep the momentum on your side. Good job.
Cano grounds it up the middle, and that makes him 1 for 3. Let's go back to our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. What team would you like to see the Royals beat the most? No surprise. No surprise in that order, actually, with the Yankees first and the Cardinals second. We thank you for texting in tonight. And after the Cano base hit, Andrew Jones is coming up. And Danny Duffy right at about 90 pitches. And Ned Yost is going to call for the bullpen.
And after a stiff elbow and 11 days rest, he did a heck of a job.
And with that, he gets a nice ovation as he heads to the dugout. Danny Duffy goes 5 1/3 tonight. He'll hand the ball off to Nate Adcock, and the Royals won't need as much of Nate Adcock as they got on Sunday against the Minnesota Twins, where for all intents and purposes he made a start, giving up 1 earned run in 5 1/3 out of the bullpen.
Nate looked great. Just when he got called up, they weren't expecting Bruce Chen to be squeezed by the home plate umpire and had a tough time getting out of the first 2 innings. But Nate came on and used a variety of pitches. A good hard sinking fastball, good curveball. Fastball we saw close to the mid-90s. He looked really good.
Remember, fans, if you're on the road this summer, you can take the Royals with you if you subscribe to MLB.tv today. You'll see every Royals out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD. Visit Royals.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Andrew Jones, the first to face Nate Adcock with a runner at first and 1 out. Outside for ball 1.
Good effective changeup too. Goes down and in, slider. So I like to call that east and west. You got a little bit of movement that way and down, and he's got the ability to go north up top too with a good 4-seam fastball.
Good pitch over the outside, 1-1. Jones has singled and he is fouled out to the catcher. One ball, 2 strikes.
See how Jones is trying to pull that ball. That's what he does most of the time. He got a nice base hit up the middle his last at bat. And you know, the Yankees aren't interested in trying to steal any bases either. Down 3 runs here. They're a slugging team, a veteran team. Cano, he just stole 8 bases last year. Kind of a situational type guy. Don't go when it's necessary, but right now down, they're not going to give away any outs.
started to go and checked his swing. Andrew Jones, just a 184 hitter, but he does have 3 home runs.
See how his front side is open. His front foot, that's inviting the pitch and getting his hips to come through on an inside pitch.
Escobar got a glove on it, but that's all. Cano will go to third. And that brings a tying run to the plate.
Okay, trying to pull that ball. Escobar did all he could on the one hopper, almost gloved it and slowed it down just enough to get Cano to third base. Double play still in order, but an excellent effort there. Pitchers like to see that.
So first and third, and Nate Adcock, when he is right, he's got that good sinking fastball, so there's always the possibility of a ground ball and a double play. And Nunez grounded into a double play in the 4th inning. Oh, 1.
Keep that sinking fastball down. Change-ups, sliders. All those pitches try to induce the ground balls. Good throwing arms out there for the Royals, no question about it. Frenchie is well known for his. Gordon's got a cannon in left. Gerard doesn't throw too bad in center. In case he gets underneath one, tries to hit a little medium depth fly ball. Frenchie loves it whenever anybody tries to run on him. He's like, go ahead. Likes to show off his arm, and why shouldn't he when you got a weapon like that?
Still 0-2.
That 94-mile-an-hour fastball snuck up on Nunez there. It's kind of a little emergency hack he put on it.
Into center field. Dyson gets behind it, but he'll play it to second base. So Nunez drives in Cano to make it 4-2.
Okay, Nate couldn't keep that ball down, so Nunez did what he was supposed to do. Get a little piece of it, knock in a run. Try to make something out of this inning for the Yankees. It's a good swing. See that tag up? Plenty of time. Gerard did the right thing by just getting it to second base because Jones was tagging it first. But that's when your outfielder like Frenchie or Gordon will be yelling at Gerard, 2-2-2. Don't try to throw him out.
Yankee catcher Russell Martin is 1 for 2 with a single. Yankees were shut out last night at home by the Baltimore Orioles. They lost 2 out of 3 to Baltimore. And they didn't get a single runner to second base, and the Orioles struck him out 10 times. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Yankees so far tonight. And the Royals have 6 strikeouts against Joe Girardi's Yankees. Danny Duffy with all 6. And you wonder, as Joe Girardi is trying to manage the game, if in the back of his mind he's wondering about Mariano Rivera. And maybe he knows. Rivera twisting his knee, his right knee, during batting practice today. Carted off the field. Went to University of Kansas Hospital for an MRI. It did not look good.
No. And really, it was painful to see that during BP. You and I were sitting up here getting prepared for the game, and our excellent cameramen showed it. And they showed somebody down the track. I wasn't sure what they were showing, and then I looked out there and I saw a guy laying down. Okay, we looked, and I got my binoculars, and I couldn't tell who it was. And then when he laid back, I said, "Oh no, that's Mariano." Look at Harkey, the bullpen coach, saying, "Get in here." That's terrible. The guy's been doing that for years out there in the outfield in his tennis shoes, and he was on the warning track. It's a freak thing.
It's bad for the Yankees. It's bad for the game, especially if this was going to be his last year. No official word yet. They're still calling it a twisted knee. Dyson is back and almost overran it. Going to make an awkward play, but he did make the play. Yankees get one in the sixth to make it a 2-run game. Slam inning. Our contestant tonight is Cassandra Gallup from Parkville, Missouri. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Cassandra wins $2,200. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Cassandra wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. With Chris Getz, Alcides Escobar, Gerard Dyson coming up against DJ Mitchell, who took over with one out in the fifth inning. Allowed a run to score that was charged to him. Another one that was charged to Clay Rapata and gave the Royals a 4-1 lead. The Yankees got a run back in the top of the sixth.
I'd like to see Chris Getz looking around at that defense before he steps in the batter's box, seeing where they're playing it. Hit a nice ball earlier to right field. Andrew Jones ran it down, but this guy can bunt too.
Getz has doubled, and he is lined out to deep right, so almost has 2 extra base hits. Pops it up. And into Mark Teixeira's glove for the first out. The Fan of the Game sweepstakes is going on now at Olathe Fiat, and you can win a new Fiat 500 Pop. Finalists for the grand prize drawing will be announced here on Fox Sports Kansas City. And in July, one fan will win the Fiat 500 Pop. Look for rules, and you can enter now at Olathe Fiat.
I got to take a look at that Fiat 500 Pop.
Coming up on Saturday, we will announce our first finalist in that contest. Escobar back to Mitchell, who will throw him out. Escobar is 0 for 3. All right, time for a little trivia tonight. Our AT&T trivia question. We're the only 3 players to start more games all time at shortstop than Derek Jeter.
Not with the Yankees.
All time.
All time. I'm gonna go Ernie Banks.
Okay.
He's one.
How about Louis Aparicio?
It's a pretty good call.
And the third one could be a trick question, because we showed you earlier that Derek Jeter has more hits than Omar Vizquel all time at shortstop. But Vizquel got to the big leagues in '89. Jeter didn't get to the big leagues until the end of '95. Dyson hits it on the ground to Cano, who very smoothly handles a difficult hop. Royals down in order. So no money for Cassandra Gallup from Parkville, Missouri in our Sonic Slam inning. Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. 23 locations coming soon to Brookside. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. By Thoroughbred Ford. The best deals on new Fords are at ThoroughbredFord.com. And by AT&T Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Royals have a 4-2 lead to the top of the 7th inning with Nate Adcock staying on after getting the final 2 outs in the 6th inning. So that's the story here. How about other scores from around the big leagues? Let's check in with Joel.
Ryan, thanks. And Panera does take us around the league. A light night in the American League. 1 of 4 games with the Royals going on. Tampa Bay sweeps Seattle. They are struggling.
Go ahead, Joel.
All right. Well,
you know how to do play-by-play.
I know how to do the play. Yeah, a little pop-up. Alex Gordon, no problem. There we go. 1 down for Nate Adcock. As for those other scores, Cleveland just escaped a bases-loaded jam in the 7th, so they're still on top 7-3. Toronto and L.A. just underway one night after Jared Weaver threw a no-hitter. I don't think that guy surprises any of us.
No problem on the pop-up, Joel. Let me see you get a glove out there and make that pop.
Yeah.
Hey, Rex. It is Gold Glove night here tonight. Alex Gordon?
You're right.
No problem.
All right.
We're not talking Joel Goldberg. We're talking Gold Glove or Alex Gordon.
You are correct.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. His nickname isn't Goldie because of what he does with his glove.
Hey, look at that lineup there.
Mm-hmm. You know, as we advertise, 1 per customer.
Well, he borrowed some.
Oh. Derek Jeter singled in the 1st inning, doubled and scored in the 3rd. It was his 500th career double, and then struck out in the 5th against Danny Duffy, who went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs, struck out 6, and handed the ball off to Adcock with 1 out. 2 balls and 1 strike. So Danny Duffy moved back because of soreness in his elbow, and then because of the rainouts in Minnesota and Detroit, the Royals could just keep pushing him back and make sure that that elbow was right. And Danny was, for the most part tonight, very sharp, very good fastball, maybe the best fastball he's had all year.
Location was supreme for that.
2-2. When Jeter struck out in the 5th, he had a little chat with the home plate umpire, Vic Carapazza. Jeter never wanted to show up an umpire. Just wanted to get a little clarification on the strike zone, so he'd be ready for his next at bat. 3-2.
You know, he's not an arrogant guy at all. So he probably just said, I thought that pitch was a little low. He didn't drop any tenure on him, I'm sure.
I'm sure Vic Carapazza knows who that is at the plate, right?
No question. And so does Adcock.
Jeter has never won the MVP award, but you can make a strong case that over the course of his career, he has been the MVP of the game. With the championships that he's won, the milestones, the way he plays the game. I mean, he has stayed out of trouble his entire career.
And in New York City.
Right.
That is amazing.
Trouble is always waiting right around the corner.
And there's always,
if you want it.
And they know who he is, too. Everyone does. When I was a young Yankee, Dave Rigetti and I used to go out after games. He had a Bronco, you know, and we'd drive. He'd go up one-way streets. He'd pull up in front of a place, and they would go, "Yo, Dave, how you doing?" He'd get out. We'd park right in the street, and they would leave the car in the street for Dave Rigetti. That's what star fame does for you there. You have carte blanche everywhere. I used to be amazed going out with a big star, what that was like in that city.
And Jeter, who might have the best inside-out swing during his career, has his 3rd hit tonight. He was already hitting .385, and now he's 3 for 4.
He fought that off. He waited. He fouled off all of these Nate Adcock pitches. Now, that's a pretty good spot there. That's inside, off the plate. And most guys aren't going to be able to keep their hands inside of that and shoot it to right field. But because he has such a great inside out swing, like you said, he did it. Not a bad pitch there, Nate.
Jose Majares will come on and face Curtis Granderson. In a 2-run game, coming on for the 13th time, he inherits Jeter at first base. And he'll pitch to Curtis Granderson.
He'd keep that ball away from Granderson.
Over the inside for strike one. Now remember, we showed this in the very first inning. Curtis Granderson has really turned himself around against left-hand pitching. He was an out at times with the Tigers against lefties. And this year, he is doing much better against lefties than he is against righties. So this is a case where Ned Yost just goes with the matchups, and this is why the Royals have Jose Mijares to come on and face lefties late in the game. And Granderson hits it into right center field. Jeter will go to third. And for Curtis Granderson, looking at his matchup with Mijares, that makes him 5 out of 10. And now he's reached base safely in 24 straight games.
And that's just the 4th hit from a left-handed bat off of Mijares in 22 at-bats. Left it over, and Jeter reads that with no problem. There's one out, first and third here. Mijares wants to keep the ball down. See if Teixeira will oblige him with a little ground ball in the infield here.
Outside for ball one. Teixeira tied the game at 1 in the 3rd inning with a 2-out double. He is also grounded out twice. Over the inside, 1-1. Teixeira is 1 for 3 against Mijares, and that one hit was a home run. Swung right over the top, 1-2.
That's a good knifing breaking ball that Mijares has. So far, so good. Fastball, slider. He's got a curve and a change, but he's only going to try to do whatever he can to keep the ball down.
Ooh. Not quite where he wanted it, and lucky that Teixeira hit it back to the screen.
Ooh. Nothing too good up there. That's right over the middle of the plate, and he had a rip. He's telling himself, throw me that one again, please.
On the ground and foul. Teixeira hit .248 last year, which is the lowest batting average in his career. But it was also the 8th straight season that he had at least 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. Stayed up again. Dyson will make the play in center field. Yankees will make it a 1-run game as Teixeira drives in his 2nd of the night. Good situational hitting for the Yankees. Their last 2 runs have come on sacrifice flies.
Okay, that's 2 pitches in a row that were elevated and up. In order to stay away from that, you try to execute down in the strike zone, and the Yankees are getting a little bit closer now. For the Royals to be able to win their first game at home this year, they're going to have to show some bullpen work here and get the job done to do it.
Alex Rodriguez against Danny Duffy never put the ball in play. Danny walked him twice and then struck him out with a fastball in the 6th, with a fastball in the mid-90s. Quintero thinking about throwing down to first.
Granderson hasn't stolen a base so far this year.
1-1.
Horace against these power hitters, Teixeira and A-Rod, living a little bit dangerously. Out over the plate, taking some good rips on him.
Broken bat, and it gets through at least deep enough for Rodriguez to be safe. So the inning continues, and now the tying run is at second base.
He got that pitch where he wanted it. Moustakas doing all he could to try to glove it, knock it down. It's 2 outs. It's on the inside part of the plate, and Alex just muscles it into left. Moustakas loves to get dirty. Couldn't get it. So far this year, Dave Island, in his first year as a pitching coach, he seems to pick the right time to come out and talk to his guys. We've seen him talk to the guys, and they would go out and make the next pitch and execute and get out of the inning. We'll see if Dave stays hot.
Robinson Cano, 1 for 3 against Danny Duffy. He was Danny's last hitter with 1 out in the 6th. He singled and scored.
See him playing him to pull.
Curveball had him bending back. Strike 1. Second left-hand batter in the inning for Jose Mijares. And Cano is 0 for 5 against Mijares. Grounded right to Getz. So the Yankees continue to chip away, but as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, the Royals still have the lead. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. And we're showing you Ledgestone Championship Golf Course at Table Rock Lake, both near Branson. A Branson Championship Golf Course unlike any other. Described by Golf Digest as a masterpiece of mountain golf architecture. Ledgestone's 18-hole championship layout offers the kind of golfing experience where players don't want the round to end. Bottom of the 7th inning, Royals by 1, and again, here's Joe Goldberg.
And again, Ryan, we see Dave Island work his magic with a mound visit. I asked him about that, and he said he just goes out there and gets them to refocus. I had the chance to sit down with the pitching coach for an extended conversation, ran part 1 today on Royals, Hy-Vee Royals Live, and he talked a little bit about game planning against the Yankees, his former team.
I think I can offer a little bit of insight, but as a coach, you can only give players the information. They have to go out and execute it. But I think one thing I can translate to our young players when they see the Jeters and A-Rods and Teixeiras and Mariano Rivera's come in, these guys are human beings. They're great players. They're future Hall of Famers, but they're human beings. They can be beat. If we attack them with our strengths, we respect them, but don't give them too much credit, and we trust our abilities. They can be beat.
part 2 of our feature on Dave Island tomorrow on Hy-Vee Royals Live. And guys, interesting that he said that as a kid he would watch games on TV and found himself game planning as he was watching. Just as a youngster, he said, I didn't realize it then, but now all these years later, that's what I do every day.
All right, thanks, Joel. And Dave Island, a 7th-round pick of the Yankees in 1987, and then blossomed in the minor leagues and became one of their top pitching prospects in the late 1980s. This is Boone Logan coming on to face Alex Gordon, Billy Butler, and Eric Hosmer.
Boone Logan's going to sweep a lot of breaking balls here on Gordon. But you know, I really like Dave Island's philosophy and what he's doing with these pitchers. He's breaking them down, and he's talking to them. And like he said, these guys are only human. Sure, you see how great they are, but look, we can get them out if we execute our pitches. That's instilling confidence in his pitchers to go out and execute your pitch, and you can get them out, just like Mijares did.
Alex able to stop his swing. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored tonight.
Logan's got a low arm angle. He'll go with a fastball. Slider mainly.
Alex Rodriguez runs into foul ground and then maybe thought he was getting close to a railing that wasn't there.
Well, he didn't take a peek down to see where he was. So Gordon will take that. See, he didn't look down. He wasn't sure exactly where he was. Lots of times when you're running, and Alex knows this, you'll take a peek, at least see where you are, but Gordon now gets another chance here. That's an out that should have been, but he'll take it. He can now get on base.
Two balls and 2 strikes.
So he's been throwing sliders every pitch to Gordon, and he's gotten those swings off balance. He's going to stay with that pitch.
Still 2-2. Royals have seen Boone Logan quite a bit. In fact, Boone Logan got his first major league win against the Royals with the White Sox in 07, and Alex has had a tough time against Logan, as a lot of left-hand hitters have, with that difficult angle that he presents. Plus, he's way over on the first base side of the rubber. Line to center. Granderson was shallow, but still able to make the play. All right, let's see, Rex, how we did with our AT&T trivia question tonight. The only 3 players to start more games all-time at shortstop than Derek Jeter. You're going with Ernie Banks. I'm going to go with Louis Aparicio and Omar Vizquel. Ozzie Smith. Wow. How do we forget Ozzie Smith? He played in that little town on the other side of the state.
I heard of him. Well, Granderson had Gordon played perfectly. He was playing Gordon to the opposite field. Had he played him to pull, Gordon would still be running. But he could tell how Logan was sweeping that breaking ball away from him. So you got to credit Granderson for being in the right place there.
Granderson is confident right now that Billy's not going to hit it over his head. Still pretty shallow in center field.
Right, he's a little bit playing him to the off field.
Going with a breaking ball on 2-0, and it stays high. 3 balls and no strikes.
Much easier to hit that ball coming into the righty than it is going away for the lefty.
Billy is 2 for 2 in the past against Logan with a double, and Hackett on 3-0. Logan has a similar story to Tommy Hotovy. Hotovy went with the funky delivery after surgery, and that saved his career. Boone Logan was struggling in rookie ball when a minor league coach in the White Sox organization said back in 2004, hey, why don't you drop down a little bit and I'll give you a good angle on lefties. Cano to the middle to throw him out. And that really turned his career around. The very next year, he went from A ball in 05 to the big leagues in 06. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefevre with Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the rest of our Fox Sports Kansas City crew. Good to see them after a 9-game road trip.
Okay, he starts out Hosmer with a hard fastball in. He couldn't check his swing. Sure, he'll come back with them sliders now. He did to Gordon. See how Hosmer deals with that. You got to really wait on it.
0-2.
Okay, 2 fastballs in a row. Another hit gets him over the Mendoza line.
Back to Logan. Ball had a lot of spin on it. And the throw to first finishes off the inning. So we go to the 8th in a 1-run game.
Royals lead the Yankees. Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard. Royals Live should have a nice crowd out at Rivals as we break down the action of the game. Talk about Danny Duffy. Had the strikeouts going tonight. And we'll get you ready for a battle of veteran lefties tomorrow. CC Sabathia, undefeated on the year. Bruce Chen coming off of a very rough outing, looking for his first victory. We'll preview that and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. It's Aaron Crow in the 8th inning in a 1-run game. He'll get the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Aaron yesterday giving up the game-tying home run in the 8th inning to Brennan Bosch, but the Royals picked him up. In fact, the gentleman that just visited with him, Chris Getz, coming up with the RBI in the 9th inning to put the Royals back out in front and winning 3-2. So Crow has a chance to come right back. And he throws strike 1 to Andrew Jones.
Okay, good hard sliders. Above average fastball. When his slider's on, it's almost unhittable.
Jones has 2 singles tonight. He's also fouled out to the catcher. Off the end of the bat, and that will float into left field, and Andrew Jones has a 3-hit game.
Ball was up, and he hit it off the end of the bat.
And now Eduardo Nunez looking down at third base coach Rob Thompson before digging in. He does not have a sacrifice bunt so far this year. The Royals are ready for the bunt. Moustakas is in at third, and he's going to take down and away, ball 1.
Okay. Double play depth are the middle infielders. Girardi's team doesn't sacrifice very often.
He had 6 sacrifice bunts last year. Chance for 2. Out at second. Gets not in time. Looked like he really couldn't get his feet underneath him, Rex.
Looked like Getz, you know, he definitely didn't. He was a little off balance. That's why he couldn't get a lot on the throw. So the ball wasn't hit hard, good feed, and Getz, instead of coming across the base and getting his feet underneath him, he just kind of threw off balance, and that might have been the difference of getting him at first base. There's a couple different ways that you can take that turn there. You can go out and get it firmly and come on top with a strong throw, or you can stay back and use the base for your protection.
And now Nunez runs. Quintero's throw is right on the bag. So there's your double play.
Go ahead, Quintero. Nunez got an excellent jump at first base. Didn't know if they were going to get him.
So 1 pitch later, and the Royals get Nunez.
He took a little peek back. That slowed him down a hair. Didn't exactly get the jump I thought he got. Nonetheless, they got 2 outs.
It's not an easy pitch to throw on, too. That pitch was down and away.
Took a perfect throw to get him.
Aaron Crow feeling it, working quickly, and Russell Martin, the catcher, knowing how important that is trying to slow him down. Moustakas comes into the grass, and he couldn't get it in the glove, and he had the right guy running on a play like that, a catcher going up the line. It'll be a base hit for Martin in his 2nd hit of the night.
Okay, you're going to beat a team like the Yankees. You got to be able to make sure you get those outs when you can. And I'm going to say that's an easy play for Moose. He practices that every day. Ball just must have stayed down on him, or he came up a little bit.
And it'll be former Royal Raul Ibanez, who is a fan favorite here in Kansas City, playing for the Royals in 2001, 2002, and 2003. This is his first year with the Yankees after 3 seasons with the Phillies.
'17th year. This guy's a class act. And he's 2 for 4 as a pinch hitter this year for Girardi with 2 RBIs. The only 2 pinch hits the Yankees have gotten this year have come off of his bat.
Crow misses down and away, ball 1. His career, Ibanez's career, really turned around with the Royals. They signed him as a minor league free agent before the 2001 season. And the Royals designated him for assignment twice. And he had the option of electing for free agency, but instead he decided to go down to AAA, kept getting called back up. And then he spent some time with Kevin Seitzer before Seitz was a major league hitting coach. And they worked on the side, and Kevin really got him to work all fields like he does with all the Royals' young hitters. And Raul Ibanez in 2001 had 13 home runs for the Royals. In 2002, 24 home runs, 103 RBIs. And then 18 home runs and 90 RBIs in 2003. And he was on his way out of the game until putting it back together with the Royals, and has had a long, successful career and one of the great guys in the game. And he lines out to short. Woo. One-run game to the bottom of the 8th. Add to their lead. It is 4-3, and as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and it's Mike Moustakas with 3 RBIs tonight.
Oh, and he got a hold of that first one early in the game in his first at bat. Then he comes through with a bases loaded single, knocked in a couple. It's got them where they are now with a 1-run lead. See if they can hold on, and we're going to get to see him again.
He'll bat second in the inning after Jeff Francoeur. Raul Ibanez will stay in left after pinch hitting in the top half of the inning. And Rafael Soriano will come on to pitch for the 9th time this year.
Okay, now with the injury during batting practice today to their Hall of Fame closer, Mariano Rivera, they're going to bump up Soriano in the setup role. And David Robertson would likely be their closer.
Ball 1-2 Francoeur. He is 0 for 2 so far. He did reach with a walk right before the 2-run single from Moustakas in the 5th. Hit hard but foul.
I was just going to say, this is Francoeur's kind of guy here. Throws a good hard fastball, challenges hitters 90 to 95 miles an hour. Has a slider and a split finger.
Pitch stayed up, and Francoeur drives it into left center. Granderson has to hustle over to cut it off. Francoeur is going to try for 2. He's in there.
That's an outstanding hustle double right there. He read that once he touched first base and just kept going, never stopped. But you want to get that double, you get it your first step out of that box. The race was on. And he knew it. He wanted to get to second base. There's a pitch up in the zone. Good short swing. Look at that. He's charging hard. He knows. Watch him hit the inside part of the base here. That's proper. Look at him going hard to second base. Plays right in front of him. Get down. Nice slide. Beautiful.
You know, he had 47 doubles last year, and he had at least a dozen of those.
Man, I'm telling you what, that he earned that.
It became a trademark of his, stretching a single into a double.
Beautiful. Let's see if the bus driver of tonight's game so far, Mike Moustakas, can continue in that driver's seat. Wants to pull the ball over to the right side for sure if he can.
Broke his bat, but trying to pull it. 1-1.
Soriano knows the situation too, but he came in about 2 inches off the inside part, broke his bat. He'll have to go out and get another one. He loves to hear that sound.
It's the first time it's happened before he's done anything. Usually it's when he handles a ground ball or gets a hit. So Moustakas will try and use that for a little inspiration.
Hard to ask him to shorten up his swing right now and just try to pull it over when a guy's hot. Got 3 RBIs tonight. We're going to come in there again.
And then again, tried to pull it.
Is his uniform ever clean?
No. I mean, why even wash it? You know, he's immediately going to get it dirty. Sliding on the bases, diving around at third. Another chance for Alex Rodriguez, and he will make the play, so Francoeur remains at second base. While we're looking at highlights from tonight, let's take a look at our AT&T U-verse reverse replay and revisit Danny Duffy's night.
Why not? He went out there, had no emotion at all. He stayed poker face. He went right after the Yankees. He had a great fastball, liked his changeup in certain situations. But when you got a power fastball like that, stay with it. Look at the hook. It was working as well. Blowing it by, guys. I like the tip of the cap. The Kaufman faithful here. Proud of his outing. Looked good.
Quintero down 0-1. He's 0 for 3. Royals got 1 in the second on the Moustakas home run. 1 in the third with Hosmer driving in a run, and then Moustakas with the 2-run single in the fifth. Francoeur is the runner at second. And he takes off for third. And the throw is going to be on the money. Rodriguez got tangled up with his feet, but was still able to apply the tag.
Francoeur got a good jump, and typically you're not going to steal third in a situation like this unless you know you can make it. Now Martin, he came out from behind Quintero like a cat, and he got that ball down to Alex very quick. Now Francoeur thought that he got his hand around and touched the base, but Alex tagged him in his chest before he got his hand there.
Still 0-2.
Quintero did all he could. He took a swing to try to protect him. Russell Martin, he wanted it.
One and two.
Let's check out Russell Martin. Watch how quick he is. He knows the guy's going. He was already moving his feet by the time the ball got there. So he was getting himself in position. And look at him concentrating on that throw. Quick as a cat.
That's in the seats, and it's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Royals will have at least a 1-run lead to the 9th inning, and Jonathan Broxton coming on. Can't always be perfect in situational hitting, but when you go back to the 1st inning, the Royals had a runner at 3rd and 1 out, and now a leadoff double here in the 8th. Nunez brings it in, throws out Quintero, so it will be Broxton, and he'll get the top of the order. Derek Jeter, Curtis Granderson, and Mark Teixeira. Royals by 1, trying to win for the first time at home this year in Game 1 with the New York Yankees. Jonathan Broxton going for the save and trying to get saves in back-to-back games.
All right, big fella. Yesterday he looked really good. Had his slider working, but it was down. Everything was down. And when it's like that, they're gonna make some contact if it's out over the plate, but it's gonna hit it at somebody. And now he's got his work cut out for him, because guess who's coming up? Top of the lineup. See Broxton there. He's got good stuff. We've seen his fastball reach 97. He's been locating on the corners and down. He's got to stay down. Got a little slider that he'll bring in occasionally, but it won't be easy. This guy's on fire.
3 hits tonight. He's hitting .398. 2 singles, a double, and the double was the 500th of his career. And he has scored twice. Curtis Granderson will follow him, and then Mark Teixeira. And Jeter going the other way, but it's foul.
Yeah, the outfield's going to be swung over for the power arm of Broxton and the inside-out swinging Jeter. So you want to kind of try to take that gap away if you're Gerard Dyson up in center field. You see where he's sitting. Infield straight up.
Really tied him up, and it's 0-2.
I mean, as great an inside hitter as he is, Broxton throwing mid to upper 90s inside off the plate like that, even Jeter can't get around on it. But almost 3 out of the 4 of Jeter's at-bats tonight, he was down 0-2. I mean, he still's got 3 hits. To get him to swing out of the strike zone is not easy, but that slider of Broxton's after 2 fastballs, maybe it will come into play here. Wherever it is, keep it down low, just like he did yesterday.
Broxton looks like he shook off a slider and wanted the fastball away. And it was out over the plate and fouled away. That's, you know, we've talked about pitchers that need the corners and they need to keep the ball down. That's when you can throw 99 miles an hour. You can get away with a pitch that's down the middle of the plate, especially when the hitter is a little defensive with the count 0-2.
And elevate it about letter high when you're ahead in the count like this, and maybe you can get a swing and a miss out of it. I don't think he wants to throw him a slider here. We'll see. Maybe it's coming. Nothing too good. Waste a couple on it.
Slider stayed up, and Jeter has his 4th hit.
Okay, here they come. And 0-2 on a hitter red firecracker hot like this. That's just a missed pitch. It's a slider. If that was his hard fastball up there, it might have been different, but took just enough off. Played right into his hand.
Now Derek Jeter is hitting .404. Curtis Granderson, 1 hit and 4 at-bats. He struck out twice against Danny Duffy. Outside for ball 1. Royals' last 2 have been in 1-run games. Beating the Tigers yesterday 3-2. Beating Minnesota on Friday 7-6. But before that, the Royals lost their first 6 1-run games. And now it's 2-0 on Granderson.
Most closers don't care about the base runners. He's not going to worry about throwing over there to Derek Jeter unless the manager Ned Yost calls for it. Really focus on his location here. Can't give him 2-0 anything really good to hit. This guy's dangerous.
Granderson thought about it and did not swing. 3 balls and no strikes.
He's got to get after this hitter somehow, some way, because it's not going to get any easier. Teixeira, Rodriguez, Cano, Andrew Jones all following.
Swinging away 3-0. Granderson has seen Broxton once, and he walked.
So he's sitting on fastball. He was 3-0, and he'll be sitting on it again here. If Broxton misses, he wants to miss down.
And a strike in 95.
Granderson looked like he wanted to swing at that. He kind of flinched and he thought that the tailing action on that ball might be outside and to take the walk, but put it right on the spot. See Granderson, his reaction, he grimaced like, oh, that was the one. Need a pitch here.
Jeter takes off, and there are 2 on with nobody out. Now, Broxton has been here before, and he's gotten out of this situation many times in his career pitching with the Dodgers. So there are some nerves, but not what you would expect. But this is where a team like the Yankees are so dangerous, because they're not feeling the pressure right now. All these experienced hitters have been in this spot so many times. They're coming up to the plate relaxed, trying to shift the pressure from themselves to the pitcher.
It's up to the big fella with the rock in his hand. Keep it down, give him a swing, maybe he can get a double play out.
So Teixeira over to the left side. First time he's batted left-handed tonight. And Broxton is in the dirt with ball one. One ball, one strike. You know, watching these guys hit in this inning, this is what Kevin Seitzer and Ned Yost have been talking about when the Royals were getting a bit anxious at the plate in RBI situations. And the young Royals hitters at times putting the pressure on themselves to come up with the big hit, where what Kevin Seitzer and Ned Yost want the hitters to do is what the Yankees are doing right now, and that is try and put the pressure on the pitcher to make him come up with a big pitch. Don't be chasing his pitches. Wait for your pitch. And Teixeira grounds it to Getz. Out at second. Low throw. Hosmer with an incredible scoop to complete the double play.
Wow. What a save by Chris Getz. And Eric Hosmer. Broxton kept the ball down. Getz got it over there, shoveled it. Watch this pick. Whoa, I'm telling you, a lot of first basemen aren't going to judge that right. Teixeira thought he had it beat out. But Chris Getz with a heck of a play to get it to Escobar.
Boy, and if that ball gets by Hosmer, Jeter scores and this game is tied.
It's a dandy. Look at the fans here at the K.
So the Royals are one out away from winning at home for the first time this year. Alex Rodriguez laid on the fastball. On base 3 times. He has an infield single and a couple of walks.
And is that a pick-me-up? That brought the fans to their feet here.
Got the call.
Ooh, man.
And Rodriguez isn't going to get any help in the rest of this at bat.
Ooh, he might get tossed. You put your arms out like that, that's showing the umpire up. Good spot. That's a good hard running fastball. Started out over the middle and ended up on the inside part of the plate. Look at that thing. That thing shot in there. Good location down low.
Rodriguez has faced Broxton twice. He has a single and he's reached with a walk. Royals are 1 strike away from their first win at home. Still 0-2. And maybe this is a sign of good things to come. A fan in the upper deck on the right field side just made a great play with a bare hand.
These fans are in the game. They are passionate. Over 20,000 here at the K. They're excited about this young team, but they need a win.
Still 0-2.
Hey, there's that elevated fastball, and you know, closers that throw that hard, they don't want to give up a blown save with their second best pitch. He wants to go right after him. That's what he's doing. Now that's an elevated pitch in a pretty good spot. A little bit higher, and he'd have had a swing and miss.
Derek Jeter opened the inning with a single. Granderson walked to put 2 on and nobody out, and then Teixeira grounded into a double play with big plays from Getz and Hosmer. The tying run still at third with 2 down. And another 0-2 pitch, and the slider is pulled foul, and that time he kept it down.
Good pitch there. Yankees are making the big fella work. Had good downward action.
Good pitch, and Rodriguez somehow was able to lay off it.
Hey, still, Broxton has the count in his favor. That was a good pitch. He's staying away from him. Waste one. See if he'll swing and miss at it.
Two and two. Not close enough to tempt him.
Broxton's stuff, he's got to find a way to strike him out.
Derek Jeter at third base with a 4-hit game that has put his batting average up above 400. Alex Rodriguez at the plate hitting .272. And again lays off the slider and follows the ball all the way into the glove and then makes eye contact with Vic Carapazzi, the home plate umpire, who called a borderline pitch on him earlier in the at-bat.
Okay, first base is open. You got the left-handed hitting Cano on deck, but you have a chance to blow a ball by him with the fastball here in a huge situation. Go ahead and challenge him. Take your chances.
Slow roller to third. Moustakas has to hurry. Bare hands. Got him to end the game. For a long time around here, we've been waiting on Hosmer and Moustakas and thinking about what they can do with the bat. And in the ninth inning tonight, it was all about what they did with the leather.
Moustakas missed a roller like that in the previous inning. And he came in on this one, didn't have his glove. He's going to take a chance with a bare hand. If that ball goes off his wrist or hand at all, it's a tie game. That was do or die. And Moustakas was the hero, and the roar of the Kauffman crowd here was more of a relief. Watch this beautiful play coming in here. Broxton holding his breath like everyone else here. It's a rare emotion out of Jonathan.
So the Royals win at home for the first time this year, and it wasn't easy. Tension all the way down to the very last pitch. Alex Rodriguez running as hard as he could. Eric Hosmer helping Moustakas out with a nice stretch. The Royals have won 5 of their last 7 games. And the fireworks go off at Kauffman Stadium for the first time this year with a victory at home. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joe Goldberg.
Brian, thank you very much. We are joined by Mike Moustakas, who just made the play to save the game, and the crowd will get the Moose chant going right now, as they so often do. Just take us through the emotions there on what ended up being a do-or-die play to win this game.
Yeah, Alex was putting together a really good at-bat. Brox was battling for us, and, he kind of nailed the one over there. I was able to pick it up barehanded and throw him out at first.
Are you thinking as soon as that slow roller is coming, bare hand, no other chance?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a do-or-die play, and picked it up, threw it over there. Lucky Haas is over there to pick me up, and came home with a W today.
How about for the win at home, too? And I don't even know if you guys were thinking about it anymore because you broke the losing streak, but you've been waiting a long time to win here.
Absolutely. We've been going out playing hard, and we keep doing the things the way we do them, and we just got to say thank you, fans, for sticking with us, and we'll get out there and play again. Thank you, guys.
All right, Mike Moustakas, the hero of the night, pumps his fist to the crowd. We go back upstairs to Ryan Lefevre.
All right, thank you, Joel. So the Royals take the first game of the series with the New York Yankees, and one of the big keys tonight, with the Yankees leading the league in home runs and the Royals allowing the fewest home runs in the league. The Royals kept the Yankees in the ballpark with only 3 runs tonight and great defense all night. We'll be right back.